But we are live. So, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. Pretty tired.
Yeah.
I did my first TikTok live last night.
Yeah, I think I saw the tail end of that, or I tried to, and it was already over.
Yeah, I started having connectivity issues, I think, but since I finally hit that 1,000, I could go live. So it was kind of nice because I finally hit that. I hit that restock the other day, and then the next day I did my first live. So I did a few rip and ships on my first live, so that was pretty cool.
Nice. I still got a ways to go till I can get to stuff like that, but also around me, none of the stores are restocking, so it's impossible to get everything. Have to go online.
Well, it's hard here. So, like, I live in a city of 90,000 people, but there's only one Target and one Walmart. And then the next closest is like an hour away.
Mm-mm.
And I've never seen anything in my city. Like that restock I hit the other day, that was almost 3 hours away from my house. So,
Yeah, I live town of about 10,000, and then next town over would be Columbia, where the University of Missouri is, and that's like 100,000. They've got like three WalMarts and a Target, and I think they've just given up at this point.
yeah. What part of Missouri are you in?
Central, mid Missouri area.
Is that, are you by the University of Central Missouri?
No. So, funny story. University of Central Missouri is actually probably about an hour west. It's closer to Kansas City than it is to being in the middle of the state.
Yeah.
But yeah. But so let me take a look at my notes here. So how did you end up going to UMD? Was that like a dream college? Were you, because I'm not too familiar with that degree as far as like playing goes, because I know the lower you get, the less scholarships and kind of guaranteed stuff they can offer.
Yeah. So I wanted to go. Well, in high school, by like my sophomore year, I kind of figured out that colleges were starting to look at me. But by the time I was a senior, I had kind of narrowed it down. Like I put myself in the mindset like I wasn't going to play Power Five, Big Ten football or whatever. I just wasn't that good. I wasn't that big. But I had a lot of Division II interest, and I grew up about 30 minutes from St. Cloud, Minnesota, which they have St. Cloud State, and that was actually my dream school. Like I wanted to go play for St. Cloud so bad because that's who I grew up watching and stuff. And they recruited me a little bit, but they didn't. But at the end of the day, they didn't give me an offer. So Duluth had been recruiting me for a while, and I ended up signing with Duluth, who plays in the same conference as St. Cloud. So instead of playing with St. Cloud, I played against them every year. But that worked out well for me because I played them all 5 years of college and went 5-0, actually 6-0, because we played them twice in 1 year. So I never lost to St. Cloud, so that made me pretty happy.
There you go.
Because, yeah. So I had family up in Duluth, and I thought it was a good place. And then obviously we came up here, and we went. I redshirted 1 year, and so I didn't play. And then my 4 years of eligibility, we went 52-5, and we won 2 national championships. We had a pretty big rivalry with Northwest Missouri State.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's actually we played them in our first national championship in 2008. We played Northwest Missouri in the national championship, and then it seems like we ended up playing them in the playoffs. So we kind of got real familiar with them. They're a good program, though.
Yeah, they're probably the best college football team in the state of Missouri. And I mean that with full offense to University of Missouri.
Yeah, so that was a good rivalry. I think in 2008 when we beat them in the national championship, I think that was actually their 5th straight national championship game that they lost in a row.
Jeez, worse than the Bills.
Yeah, it was. It was one worse than the Buffalo Bills. So that felt pretty good. But then they ended up winning it in 2009. So they made it to a 6th in a row, and they finally won it. So
Nice. Yeah, so I went on to UMD's website and I found you. Then I kind of Googled you and I found your Max Preps like page, which I was like, holy cow! I forget sometimes that that's been around forever. But
right.
so, did you play left tackle all 4 years, or was that kind of towards the end, or?
In college.
Yeah.
So my 4 years, my first year of eligibility after I redshirted, I was kind of like a 6th offensive lineman. So we had our starting 5, and then I was essentially the backup tackle for either side.
Gotcha.
So if either tackle went down, I was like the next tackle in on either side. And that year we won a lot of games by a lot of points, so I got to play quite a bit, like in the second half of games. And then essentially the same thing happened in 2009. I was that same 3rd offensive tackle. So I got, and that year, 2009, my sophomore year, I played a little like goal line tight end, where we would bring, like a jumbo package type deal.
Right.
So, yeah, so 2008, 2009, I wasn't a starter, but I was kind of a swing player. And then 2010 was my junior year, and that was the first year I started at left tackle. And then I played every game in 2010 and every game in 2011. So I think that was 26 or 27 games I started at left tackle.
Nice. Yeah, because I know you said you were an All-American, and I mean, honestly, I feel like that's a pretty good ratio, amount of games played to getting that level.
Yeah, I mean, my junior year in 2010, that was my first year starting, and I ended up on a couple different All-American teams that year. And a lot of it was because of the team's success. I mean,
right.
If we hadn't won that many games, who knows what individual awards I would have won. I feel like some of that was like, oh, UMD won the national title. That left tackle must be pretty good. Let's give him a vote. I'm sure there was some of that, but
it's kind of
the
kind of the reverse of like what Derrick Henry and the Titans are going through, where he's leading the league in rushing and doing so good, but none of his O-linemen got Pro Bowl votes.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
it's crazy how that works out. So,
And then the guy I played next to, my left guard, a really good friend of mine, he was like, that dude made me look really good. It's easy to look good to a guy like that.
Right.
He was a year younger than me, but he was a 4-year starter at left guard. And the year after I was gone, when he was a senior, he actually won the award for the best lineman in Division II in the country, offensive or defensive.
That's insane.
Yeah, so that's called the Gene Upshaw Award, and that's obviously named after. I think that guy was affiliated with the NFL and the Chicago Bears, but
yeah.
So yeah, my left guard made me look good too. But
I know how that goes. When I didn't play sports after high school, I weighed $150, played left tackle. really small school. But yeah, my left guard was kind of the same way. He was younger than me and made me look better. But it's a team sport. So at the end of the day, as long as you're contributing, you can't complain.
Yeah.
So you've been an assistant offensive line coach, and then I saw you were an assistant D-line, I believe, at St. Scholastica, if I said that correctly.
Yeah, Scholastica.
So
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm like, so because I know you're a full time firefighter as well. Is coaching kind of something you want to kind of get into, or is that just something you do because you just love the sport?
I would say it's definitely something I do just because I love the sport. When I was done playing in college, I had no direction of what I wanted to do. So when I was done with college, I ended up working at like a juvenile detention facility, and a guy I worked with there was an assistant coach at St. Scholastica, who they're a Division III school just down the road from us, and they actually started their football program while I was in college, so it was brand new. So in like 2012, when I was my first year out of college, I went and coached at Scholastica, and I helped out with the D line. And that was just kind of a stopgap because I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then while I was doing that, I started looking into firefighting and decided that was going to be kind of my career. So I coached there for 1 year, and then I moved. I got a full-time firefighter job in South Carolina. So I moved away, and I went and did that for 3 years. And then I wanted to move back up home, so I came back up here, and I got a job with the Duluth Fire Department. And then, like, all my good buddies that were either teammates or staff when I was playing are still on the staff here at UMD. And I have a very not flexible with my firefighter schedule. We work 24-hour shifts, so we have like full days off at random times. So the head coach, Coach Weezy, actually ended up just asking me if I'd want to come help out, and so that's what I did. We didn't have a season this year, but the year before, I ended up just kind of showing up and helping out on the field during practice and in the office during game week, trying to do some game prep stuff, and on game days. And so I think I'll always be a career firefighter. I don't see myself transitioning into a full-time college coach, but since I have such an open schedule with my actual career and I'm able to do this, I think hopefully I'll do it as long as I can.
Yeah. Stuff like that's always nice to get back into, for sure. So those are just some questions I had. I was just curious about your level of football things and whatnot and how high you got. But so the real thing I'm curious in is the All In series. I know you've done a couple episodes and you've got a couple guys as far as collecting go. Have you always been into card collecting, or is it something recent? Because I know a lot of older collectors are getting back in because of COVID, because they have nothing else to do. And I myself, I've been getting back into it the past couple of years. I got a great collection of early 2000s and NFL Europe cards, which I forgot that was a thing. But
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, in the early 2000s, it's where like Dante Hall and some of those guys, I think Kurt Warner even played a year or two. It was kind of like a minor league system.
Yeah.
But so, because I know I've seen a lot of Chenault and stuff like that on your TikTok page. So I don't know if there's any other guys or anyone else you're kind of watching or you're going to see up and coming. Because like personally, I know everyone's really big on Trevor Lawrence, but
Yeah.
I think his career is going to be more like a Matt Stafford, honestly. But that's just my opinion.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, well, I guess to start off, I'm probably in the same boat as you. I was super into cards when I was a kid, same era, early 2000s. But I was actually super into baseball back then. I knew every baseball player on every team, and I had every card. And then as I got into high school, I let that go a little bit, and I don't know if I touched another sports card until only like 6 months ago. Same thing with COVID. I just, you're sitting around, you don't have anything to do. And so I ended up kind of getting back into it. And obviously I'm very involved in the sport of football. So I feel like I have a pretty good knowledge base of it. So I started looking into football cards, and I ended up on TikTok. I didn't know how, and I was like, holy cow! Like this is a really big thing. And I think part of it was we didn't have a football season this year at the university, so this whole fall went by, and I just felt like I was missing a part of my life in that time of the year. So I started getting into football cards, and then I feel like there's a lot of card collectors out there that know a lot about cards and the actual industry. But the reason I think I started to focus on a few players is I feel like I have a super deep knowledge of the game and what skills are important and what it takes to have a good team and how different players complement each other. So the way I started to focus my collection is on like basically 4 guys who I looked at the supporting cast they have around them, and I just kind of picked out guys that I think are going to turn into good players and develop, whose stock is still fairly low right now. So because I don't make a lot of money, so I don't have a lot of money, so it's not like I can't go and drop 10 grand on a Justin Herbert card, because everybody in the hobby knows about Justin Herbert. But
Oh yeah.
so I kind of picked out these 4 guys, and some of them are pretty popular. Like I PC Justin Jefferson. I feel like everybody collects Justin Jefferson because that's a pretty obvious target. But I'm also a Vikings fan, so I kind of have an excuse to go with the norm on him. But, so yeah, with like the 2 I've done so far are Jacob Eason and Laviska Shenault. So Jacob Eason is I went back and watched some YouTube highlights of him a while ago, and just the way that he can stand in the pocket. He's a really big body. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of a less mobile Josh Allen, but he's got a good pocket presence, and he's hard to tackle, and he can make some moves with his feet and get away, and then still make some good throws with a powerful arm. So I kind of pinpointed him as someone, with all that stuff combined with the situation he's in Indianapolis, where they had Phil Rivers, someone that's not going to be thrust into the starting position right away, and he's going to have some opportunity to be mentored by a guy like Rivers. So I know with Rivers retiring this year, Eason's cards have already shot through the roof in like the last 2 weeks, which kind of annoys me because it's one of those things like I feel like I was on him like 6 months ago. But I did get like a decent base going of him, and like even like a month ago I was picking up Jacob Eason RPA for like $18, and now those $18 cards in the last 2 weeks have shot up into the 40s and 50s, so it's like already 100% return on investment. But so yeah, I mean, guys like Eason, who I think are going to be stars potentially down the road, Laviska Shenault, for the same reason. I watched some of his stuff at Colorado, and he is a super dynamic player. He's the kind of guy that you just want to get the ball into his hands and watch him run. And they line him up all over the field. He can go downfield and make huge plays as an outside receiver, or he can catch you underneath on a slant route and make some guys miss and take it to the house. So once you add in Trevor Lawrence or, whatever, a good quarterback, I think he's going to have an opportunity to make a lot of plays. But then at the same time, what made me even more pumped about that is when they started talking about Urban Meyer going to Jacksonville. Because to me, Laviska he's more of a college receiver than a pro receiver. And I mean that in it's more common in college for you to have one skill player who can play anywhere on the field and you just get him the ball. Where in the NFL, it's a lot more specific. You're the outside receiver, you're the slot receiver. But with Urban Meyer going to Jacksonville, I think he's going to be super creative with Laviska, and and put him all over the field, try to keep the defenses guessing, mess with the D coordinator's game plans a little bit. And I think in another year or two, he could be one of those guys, almost like I think I said in my video, like a Percy Harvin. When he was with Minnesota, he took handoffs in the backfield and he took outside receiver plays, inside receiver plays. And that's where I see Laviska too. So I'm excited for that changeover in Jacksonville. And I hope that they can showcase him as much as I think they should. So
it'll be interesting for sure. Because, yeah, with especially the NFL going more pass heavy these days, you kind of need those versatile players. And I think right now the only one that I can think offhand is Tyreek Hill. What the Chiefs do with him, or even Kelsey, because they'll have him run tight end screens, which isn't crazy common. But I do have a bone to pick. I wanted the Raiders to draft Justin Jefferson over Henry Ruggs. Everyone said I was stupid, and then after watching this season play out, like, oh man, what could have been?
We got lucky with that, and I don't know if you've seen this or not, but there's a video going around of the Vikings front office staff reacting to the Eagles taking Jalen Reagor right in front of them. Have you seen that?
I want to say I've seen part of it where they're like talking back and forth on like.
Yeah, they're in a Zoom call or whatever during the draft, and they're making their plan of who, the Vikings are 2 picks away from their picks, so they're talking about like a corner or an offensive lineman, and then all of a sudden Philadelphia makes their pick, and they pick Jalen Reagor, and Rick Spielman, the GM, and Mike Zimmer, the head coach, both like kind of double take at their screen, and then Spielman starts laughing at the fact that Philadelphia took Jalen Reagor. And then all 4 of them at the same time are like, get Justin Jefferson on the phone, So I was super happy with that pick. I think this was a super stacked wide receiver class. There were, 4 or 5 taken in the first round. With Judy and Ruggs, and I don't know who else.
CeeDee Lamb.
Oh yeah, CeeDee Lamb. So I think with the way the season played out, I think Jefferson turned out to be the top receiver in that class. Although I'm not too quick to dismiss CeeDee Lamb. I think that would have maybe been a different story if Dak was around here. CeeDee Lamb is the way he plays and the way he runs is incredible. I think if Dak comes back healthy or whatever Dallas does at the quarterback position, I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have a hell of a career too. So I'm excited to see him with a good supporting cast, and hopefully Jefferson keeps going the path that he's on.
Yeah, because wasn't that the whole thing with CeeDee Lamb? Like, Michael Irvin wanted him to have his number, like, 88, because he feels like he's the next big thing, which,
right.
I mean, that's pretty good praise, but time will tell which one's going to maintain, especially because, I mean, right now, in Minnesota, you have Kirk Cousins, who's, like...
He's hit or miss.
Yeah.
He's hot and cold.
Yeah, but you also have probably one of the top running backs in your backfield with Cook. So, I mean, you can't really miss with that. There was a joke I saw. They're comparing fullback and halfback combos, and I think the list I saw rated Minnesota at the top because you have Cook and Ham. So they're just gonna feast all day. I think that was the whole punchline with it.
Yeah.
But
fun fact: CJ Ham was. He played in my conference in college. He's 4 years younger than me, but he's actually from Duluth here, where I live.
Oh damn!
And I remember when I was a junior at UMD, and CJ Ham was a local kid in high school, and I remember he wanted to come here and play with us, but he wanted to play running back, and we had like 2 All-American running backs that were ahead of him. And so we had kind of told him, like, you're a good athlete. We want you to come here, but you might be more of a fullback or a linebacker type because we're pretty set at running backs. So we So we told him that, and he ended up going to Augustana, which is down in South Dakota, but in our conference, because they told him he could play running back. So he went down there and played running back. And then, it's just kind of funny. Essentially, he was told that we didn't want him at that position, and then look at him now. So
Right. Let's see. Got a comment saying all the other star wide receivers taking the draft. Opinion is that they played with subpar QBs, which that's very true. I know Ruggs' issues, he had concussions and things like that, and then Andy Dalton. Well, Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci were the Cowboys quarterbacks, which if you know who Ben DiNucci is, holy cow. That's crazy.
I watched Ben DiNucci play in college last year at James Madison. I went down to Frisco, Texas, and I watched the FCS National Championship game last winter, just about a year ago now. Just because NDSU is such a big football program for that level, and they've been in the national championship like 11 of the last 12 years or something. So last year I had nothing to do, and I was like, well, whatever, I'll drive down to Texas. So I drove like 15 hours and just went to the game.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I know. So this past draft was full of wide receivers. Like, that was like what it's built on. This year's draft, I don't think there's really one core position group per se. Because I think you have about 4 or 5 guys per each group, with quarterbacks, running backs, linemen, linebackers. DB, you got Asante Samuel Jr. and, what's his name? Someone else's child from the mid-2000s NFL. I can't think of what his name is off the top of my head.
Yeah, they're all coming up now, though. Like Antoine Winfield Jr. and all those guys.
Yeah, that makes me feel old.
Yeah. Well, baseball, that goes for football and baseball, too.
Oh, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Tatis and Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yep. Gosh.
Crazy. Those are all my childhood guys. They're all their dads.
Yep. It's crazy how that happens. How it comes full circle.
Or even Thaddeus Moss, in the NFL.
Yeah, Randy's son.
Yep.
Gosh, that's gonna bug me.
I'm not very brushed up on my college defensive backs, to be honest with you.
Well, I just remember because I think Asante Samuel Jr. went to Bama and the other one went to Florida State, but I could have it backwards, but yeah. Well, are there any guys upcoming that you've kind of started eyeing for your private collection, as far as like any like fringe or any upcoming small school guys?
Not really. I haven't really gotten that far yet, because I'm still pretty new getting back into the hobby. So I tend to focus more on current NFL players, and that goes for even just watching a game. Like I'll take the NFL over college football any day, and I know that's not always a super popular opinion. But in terms of watching, I'm more into NFL, so I don't know much about the incoming rookie class as some people do. I think once we get closer to whatever the combine is this year, and then the draft and stuff, I'll start to pick up on that. But I haven't really looked too close into it, other than like the obvious Lawrence, Justin Fields, Devontae Smith, right? That's
the Heisman winner, the Bama wideout.
Yeah, I mean that guy's a special player. I worry a little bit about his size. Just watching him at the national championship game, they were showing him on the sidelines and stuff, and it's like, man, that guy looks like he's 15 years old.
Yep.
It's hard to picture him going across the middle against a hard-hitting safety or whatever. So, but CeeDee Lamb's kind of the same way, and he did all right this year. CeeDee Lamb's not the biggest guy, so I don't really have anything picked out. I mean, other than the guys from this year, like I did the videos on Eason and Laviska Shenault, and then I have Jefferson, and then my fourth guy that I PC right now is Jordan Love. I think I'm one of the people that laughed my ass off when the Packers drafted Jordan Love because they needed an offensive weapon right now.
Yep.
And I'm a Vikings fan, but I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome, because I could have seen them drafting one of these top wide receivers or trying to trade up or whatever. But as I watched Love a little bit, you know, he's an athletic body. He can move, he can throw, and then there's just like the it factor of up-and-coming quarterbacks in Green Bay that have the opportunity to learn under a legend, you know? So it's like Favre played for 100 years and Rodgers waited in the wings, and now Rodgers is playing for 100 years, and I know Deshaun Kaiser was in there, but we don't count him. So now I picture Jordan Love sitting around waiting for another year or two in Green Bay, and it's hard not to buy into whether or not Jordan Love is the next big thing. So he's my fourth guy. It got me a little excited when Rodgers was throwing those cryptic statements out after they lost last weekend, you know, talking about not knowing what his future looks like. And there's rumors of him wanting to go to San Francisco, and so that got me a little excited on Love. But at the same time, it's in the same boat as Jacob Eason, where I hope he has another year to learn and to develop more, because some of those guys, if they just get thrown in and expect to win right away, it's like they don't do well, with the exception, you know, the obvious exceptions. But
yeah,
I think both Eason and Love, I think, are both guys that will benefit more from waiting another year or two until they end up with the starting job. So,
and I realize Patrick Mahomes is a freak of nature, but I mean, that's what the Chiefs did with him. He sat a year behind Smith, learned everything, learned what he could, and now I'm not even a Chiefs fan, and I got to deal with him just because I live in Missouri. But he's off doing his thing, because I feel like with the Jets, with Sam Darnold, I know a lot of people want to replace him, but I don't think he's the problem. I think it's staffing and the 30 different offensive linemen in the past 3 years have kind of crippled him a little bit. And
I agree.
And lack of a running game, because I mean they had Le'Veon Bell, they didn't really use him, and after him, you know, Blue Powell's getting older if he's even still there, and then everyone else is just too new.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Sam Darnold, but I actually had a conversation yesterday with a guy that he's still going pretty hard on Sam Darnold in sports cards, and just for that reason, like, you know, he's just kind of being wasted a little bit. You look at a guy like Josh Rosen last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was, and, you know, he was a top 10. He was always talked about as top 10 pick, and I don't even know if is he in the league anymore?
Last I heard, he was on Tampa Bay's practice squad.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, he was potentially the next big thing, you know?
He had 1 year.
Unfortunately, he kind of got thrown into the fire right away, and that can kill some guys' careers. So, I think in rookie quarterbacks, for sure, with the obvious exceptions, if they can have some time on the sidelines, that's nothing but good things.
Right. Even like Tua this year. Tua had a couple games before he really gets all action. But with Jordan Love and Rodgers, after seeing Matt Stafford kind of wanting out of Detroit, I could see I don't know Rodgers' contract situation, but I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happened, because Green Bay is notorious for not spending money in free agency to even try and get any offensive weapons. But
I think Rodgers, I think he has 2 years left on his contract. They were talking on ESPN the other day that all the details of Rodgers' contract aren't super public, and there's talk that he has some clauses within his contract that essentially he can at any time say, like, hey, I want out, and he'll be out. So I think if it comes down to that, who knows? But,
yeah, because was Gronk. I think Gronk had that thing where even though he retired, he was still under contract with the Patriots, so he had to like wait a certain time or something before he could actually sign with the Buccaneers. So I know they've got some of those weird. It's not like baseball where it's pretty black and white, no trade clause, this many options. It's more this much money's guaranteed. That's about it, if any.
Yeah, for sure.
Because all the cap situations and whatnot that they've got in the NFL. But I don't know. This next year is going to be interesting to see what happens with all those teams and the quarterbacks. Because Indy,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, Indy still has Jacoby Brissett. And then...
Well, Easton's the only one under contract right now with Indy.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, right now, as of right now, Jacob Easton's the only quarterback on their roster. So, there's talk of signing a vet like Stafford or whatever, but I was just reading the other day that as of right now, Easton is the only one under contract. So it's either going to be him or it's going to be one of these journeyman vets that they pick up for a year. And honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know if someone like Stafford or Jimmy G or Brissett comes back, something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure what happens there, but for my investment's sake, I hope that someone comes in for one more year.
Yeah, because that was...
If not...
Yeah.
Or even Wentz.
Yeah, that would be pretty huge because I think he's got still quite a few years left in the tank, for sure.
Yeah.
I know the Raiders, we've got probably the best journeyman in the NFL right now. We got Nathan Peterman on our roster. But
I thought you were talking about Mariota.
Listen, if we can kind of do some packages with him, I think that would help our offense. But we got to figure out what the heck we're doing with Nelson Aguilar first, if anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that was the whole thing when Andrew Luck retired with Indy. Is they had a Super Bowl ready contending team, they just didn't have a quarterback. And this year, they had Rivers, they had the quarterback, but they just fell short. So, I'd be curious to see, because, they made that, who was it? Was it Buckner they picked up for the D-line from the 49ers? And that, so far, seems to be panning out to an extent, I would say.
Yeah, I think he had a good year. And I think the most important piece of Indy is... Obviously, I'm biased, but they have one of the best, if not the best, offensive lines in football.
Yep.
Which clearly I think is the most important thing on a football team. But like if you watch Quentin Nelson at guard on Indy, it's even if you don't know anything about offensive line, you watch him and you can be like, wow, that guy's good as hell. Like he just mauls people.
Oh yeah.
And then he helps him up off the field, and then he pats him on the back and says, "I'm going to do it again."
Or he does a keg stand with another offensive lineman in the end zone. Speaking of Quentin Nelson, that's like I found, I don't know what year it was, but it was a Prism card of his on eBay for 50 cents at the time. So I think I threw $1 bid at it, and I think it's gone up to about like $40 or something crazy.
Wow.
Just
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, just because, and I'm sure it's just because one, it's Prism, and two, it's Quentin Nelson. Like, why? I feel like they don't make very many offensive line football cards, so
right,
or as much as they used to, at least.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's a good time. Those are always fun to hit, like the $1 eBay pickups, and then all of a sudden you look at it and it's up to 20, 25, 30, 40.
I did that I also had I want to say it was a Tim Brown card, and it got all the way up to about $300. Or no, it wasn't Tim Brown. It was a graded rated rookie Josh Allen. It was a 9 out of 10 PSA, and it started around like a couple bucks, and then by the end of it was up to like 150 to 300. It just, yeah.
Yeah, Josh Allen's a hot card right now.
It makes me wonder if people are buying into Jacksonville's Josh Allen instead of Buffalo Josh Allen by mistake. But I mean, he's not bad either. He just happens to be on the defensive side of
Yeah,
the ball.
right. I picked up a. This was one of my very first purchases of this season. I picked up a Jonathan Taylor optic preview rated rookie. I picked that up for about $4 on eBay, and I just checked the other day, and they're going for about 25 right now. So I've gone from $4 to 25 because he had a strong finish to the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm going to send that to PSA, I think, and see what I get back. It's in pretty good shape, so I'm interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah. I know I've been trying to pick up Hunter Renfro, not just because we're both in our 20s and balding at a quick rate, but because, I mean, he was really good at Clemson. He doesn't have crazy stats, but he's like our serviceable slot receiver who's going to catch anything thrown at him. Anytime you bid on anything of his, it just shoots right up. I don't know if he's becoming a hot commodity too, because to me he seems like a kind of a weird player to be that, but
Yeah.
it's popping off for him too as well.
I wouldn't have guessed that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean his isn't, it's not going from like $1 to 20, but it's slowly going from like 1 to 10. Or there was a playbook with a pretty fat patch I saw go from 5 to 25, and I think it ended around 150. So, but that was one of the playbooks with a patch and an auto on it too. So I mean,
Yeah.
those cards are pretty big because they're little booklets.
Yep.
So, but yeah. So I know you have your TikTok page, and I want to say I've seen you advertise on Instagram.
No, I don't.
Or it's been in the background of a couple of like your first couple videos, but
yeah, maybe. I have a personal Instagram, but I honestly don't really use it anymore.
Gotcha.
I've been kicking around the idea of making a new one related to my card stuff, and possibly, basically just being a good mix between the two of TikTok and Instagram. So I've been thinking about posting or making a new one and kind of coinciding that with my TikTok. But at the same time, I don't know if I have quite the time to keep up with two. So that's an idea that might come to fruition in the future. But other than that, man, it's pretty much TikTok only.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of stuff. You've probably seen me advertise with Alex Toomey. He's out in Boston. His TikTok is Toomey's Trading Post.
Yeah.
He's a big card guy. He's a lot more into baseball than football, but he does a lot of football breaks on TikTok. And so he's kind of one of my main guys that I talk to and work with on TikTok is his page. And he's got a Instagram and stuff for his that he's been working on branding for a while. So I kind of linger over there for the most part on his stuff. And
Yeah.
we've kicked around a couple of ideas for doing some projects together or working together on some breaks or stuff like that. So that might be something that happens down the road here.
Yep. I know I have an Instagram for my stuff, but I'm not too in depth with it. Take a picture front and back of a sports card. I probably have about 30 pictures on my phone, and whenever I'm just on lunch at work or something, I'll just upload one with a couple sentences and some tags. But it's not anything crazy or anything. It just shows off all the cool stuff or the oddities, like my rated Joey Harringtons that I just bought, because sometimes you gotta have a Hall of Shame.
Yeah. Have you seen that guy on TikTok? I think his name is I Buy Bad Cards.
Yeah, that's kind of where I got the idea, and then I found a Gym Mint 10, David Carr.
Ooh.
So for $5, so I bought it because I was like, that's our quarterback's older brother. Plus, like, I remember the Texans being a thing and him being terrible, but yet winning a Super Bowl as Eli's backup. So I was like, I can't pass this up.
Yeah, that's a good pickup.
But I know that's probably going to start the market on some of the lesser known players.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And then,
Cool.
do you have an eBay shop as well?
I don't have a shop.
Because I want to say,
And I've done some. I do some stuff on eBay. I'm mostly a buyer right now.
Okay.
But I am trying to. I have a lot of stuff that I will be selling in the future. I used to have that eBay username in my bio on TikTok because it's different than my TikTok name. But when I do start selling, I'll probably put that eBay username back in my bio just to drive people there. I don't pay for the actual eBay store.
Gotcha.
I just sell, individually, but haven't done too much there. I've thrown up just a couple of my bigger things. I hit a Tua RPA out of one of Toomey's breaks.
Jeez.
So I threw that on there, and I sold that. I sold a Jerry Rice Genesis out of a Mosaic. So really, anything bigger like that, I'll put on eBay just to have that protection as a seller, or between the seller and the buyer,
right?
In terms of not getting ripped off or whatever. So I've been doing my bigger stuff on eBay. Other than that, I'm mostly a buyer right now, though.
Gotcha. But cool. But do you have to get out of here, or because I know you're waiting on?
Yeah, I've got to get going here in a second.
But go ahead.
I was gonna say I appreciate you having me on. I've never done anything like this before, but
yeah, I know on TikTok, and I think also on my Twitch, I have my YouTube page linked, so I'll probably cut up the show and then post it on YouTube if you're comfortable with that. Just so that way, if you want to go watch it or something happens, you can show off and be like, "Look how fancy I am," or whatever,
Yeah, for sure.
But appreciate having you on and being all chill with all this. It's always nice to drop some knowledge on football and cards and the hobby. And I know for the couple people checking it out live right now, you're at Minnesota_Corey on TikTok. That's CORY, no E. I made that mistake one time when I was trying to do some stuff. But yeah, anything else you want to plug before you get out of here, or?
Nah, man, that's about it. That's pretty much my profile and my platform, I guess, that I use. So you pretty much nailed it. But yeah, appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Later.
All right, everyone. So that was the Minnesota Corey. He's got about 1,000 or so followers on TikTok. He does some great stuff on the old card collecting side of TikTok. So feel free to check him out. I know this is an hour show, and we've actually only got about, I'd say, hold on, okay. I don't know why my screen looks so small today compared to last time. Got about 13 minutes before the next hour. Might have this one run a little bit longer because originally that interview was only supposed to be 30 minutes and it'd been about 45. But yeah, I encourage everyone go check him out. He's a pretty nice guy. He's does some good stuff on TikTok, always showcasing, and just a very talented all-around guy. So this is the point where we showcase cards and open a couple packs. But I want to start off by showing one of my most recent eBay purchases. It's a Survivor Series Matt Relic Asuka. I remember when she made her WWE debut. Also, I just love her intro. And then some of these you may have seen on Instagram already, but the Alundra Blaze Chrome, the Pete Dunne, the Isaiah Scott, both versions of it, and then my Natalia, which is actually number 10 out of 10, which the first time I opened this, I didn't realize that until I was organizing stuff, and then it popped up, and I was like, holy cow, that's numbered, so got to protect that. And I'm still waiting on some of my sleeves to come through so I can sleeve some of these bad boys up. But some of these you may have seen on older TikToks or my Instagram. But we got an auto Kevin Seymour. Got this out of an eBay lot. Cornerback for the Bills. And then good old Ricky Williams. Got a little patch there. Number 95 out of 100. And let's keep throwing it back. Who should I just show next? Oh yeah, we'll show kind of, and then the Hunter Henry, which I believe I've shown on both before, or all the medias. Kind of a patchy boy. Deion Sanders, Falcons, and I know over here you can kind of see. So let me move that. But in this one, I don't think this one's technically numbered. Michael Thomas. Gridiron Heritage. I don't think this one's numbered either. As well as a Damian Harris. Which I've actually seen a lot of people pull this card out of, I believe, Illusions. That's pretty nice. And then Jay Ajayi, which I think he's like a professional gamer now or something. But yeah. And this one's not numbered either. It's just generic. But yeah, those are just the cards I want to showcase. I was going to do some more of my private collection for my Raiders and Rams, but I don't want to really get into that right now. Let me see, what packs do we have? I guess we got some hockey we can open. And we'll do a couple of these WWE Chrome packs out of a blaster. See if we can get, I think there's like a 1-of-1 chance, or a 1-of-1 like Stone Cold. I could be wrong though. Oops. Let's see. Oh, got Edge. Nice. And then a Kevin Owens debut. Trying to remember that my camera's on the opposite side. And Finny Boy, or I believe his first name is actually Fergal, but he goes by Finn Balor. And Amia Yem. So nice. I actually got quite a few cards out of this that I will have to sleeve up because I want to keep them for my PC, my private collection. All right. Another Topps Chrome pack. Got Austin Theory. Oh, this Jordan Devlin was backwards, but yeah. Tyler Breeze and Lacey Evans. So not as exciting as the first pack, but you know, still got some known people if I could learn how to talk right now. So now we got this Upper Deck Hockey 26 card Young Guns. So let's see what we get. See if we get anything fancy. So I'll just kind of fly through these. See if anything pops out, or if we get any cool fancy cards again, or checklist or anything. Okay, so Alex Gogoleski, this guy, I want to say is a couple of years ago, his nephews and nieces went to the school I went to. The school I went to from K through 12. So that's kind of cool. Oh, got another Young Guns canvas. So we pulled a Young Gun, one Young Gun. We pulled a canvas. Now we have a Young Gun canvas. So it's like a combination of the two, I guess. So that will definitely have to get sleeved up. That's for sure. Blake Coleman. Oops. Who just flew at me? Fox. Philip Gruber. TJ Oshie and a Robert Thomas to finish it off. Oh, Oshie. I remember all the memes about you when you were in St. Louis. The memes of people watch porn instead of him because his stick game is so strong or something like that. It was a very popular meme back in the day, I believe. But yeah. Got 7 minutes before the next hour. I guess we can kind of go through my private collection. If we go over a couple minutes, we go over. So I'm still waiting to get, and some of these cards you may have seen before on TikTok or my Instagram. I'm still waiting for some of my top loaders, but this is kind of my private collection. Hunter Renfroe, Captains Derek Carr, Aaron Donald in the zone, and then college Darrell Henderson, Gurley, another Darrell Henderson, and then Maurice Hurst. And I kind of flew through those. Now this is the current stack. Some of these guys I just collect because I liked using them in Madden at the time, that they're on my favorite teams. But Isaiah Peed, Sean Mannion, and then I have the season ticket Derek Carr. I keep hitting my camera and knocking it around. Another Prism Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Tim Brown, college Renfroe and Goff and Crosby and Cup, numbered Gurley, another Josh Jacobs, another Josh Jacobs, another Josh Jacobs, Trayvon Mullen, another Josh Jacobs, another Josh Jacobs, then 2 Bryan Edwards to finish it off. If you can't tell, I really like Josh Jacobs. I really do. So actually, let's just do this real quick. Let's see, Jacobs, and then Jacobs. So here's my private collection that's currently in top loaders on the left side. And here's all of my Josh Jacobs on the right side in top loaders. It's almost half. It's as if I really like Josh Jacobs, and it's nice to have a franchise running back. But I digress. But yeah, as always, for those of you that are watching this live or re-seeing the broadcast on YouTube, thank you guys for stopping by. I realize we're 5 minutes till... Well, I guess my clock is a little off. But appreciate everyone tuning in. As always, I have a PayPal linked. That just helps to improve the show and help pay for possibly purchasing some more packs to open and things like that. Donations or tips or whatever you want to call them are greatly appreciated, but not necessary. But I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday. I don't have a guest planned. I've got a couple people I want to reach out to and see what they say. But appreciate everyone for tuning in, and have a nice rest of your day.